Hey guys, how are you? This is Armando, and I want to share with you today's special lesson on the run. Um, I rarely run with my phone, but today I was listening to some interviews of this guy named James Lawrence. And if you don't know who he is, James Lawrence is he's also known as the Iron Cowboy. Most recent accomplishment was doing, I think it was 50 Ironmans in 50 days in 50 different states, in all the different states here in the US. Now, that is an insane undertaking, one of the most insane endurance feats. But we was talking about this idea of mediocrity, that we live in a time in a world of mediocrity where most people just settle for mediocrity. And while I can see that, because by its very nature, the average is where most people lie, right? So that may be great, or it may be high, or it may be low, right? So it depends on where everyone's level is. And I think too often it's easy to dismiss and say, oh, everyone is just mediocre and that's it. But let me suggest, and let me have you think about it perhaps in a different way. If you walked into a room and it was dark, would you walk quickly? And the answer is no, because you can't see. Now, if there are 3 of us in the room and we're trying to make our way across the room, we'd all walk slowly. But what happens if somebody pulls out a flashlight and they turn on the flashlight? What would everyone do? Is that they'd go to where the guy with the flashlight is, because he can see more, he has more clarity, so he can move more freely, move more uninhibited, because he has that clarity. And so instead of perhaps saying the comparison of saying most people live in mediocrity, I think the better question is how do we raise the tide so that the median, right? Because by its very nature, not everyone can be up top and not everyone will be at the bottom. At the medium, at the average, everyone is going to be in the middle. Most people are going to be in the middle. So how do we, as the quote says, a rising tide raises all ships. How do we rise the tide to bring everyone's level up so that, yes, while most people are operating on a mediocre and average level, it is still at a high level? And you can see it. You can see it in many different industries where a perfect example is like the NBA, right? You have the stars. You have, let's just say, the Michael Jordan or the Steph Currys or whoever it is that you want to say, that these are the stars. These are the guys that rise above. But everyone in the NBA is amazing. To get to the NBA, to be in a professional setting, you have to be amazing. You're already above. But now, what happens when you have a championship team? Not everyone becomes the Michael Jordan, the LeBron James, the Steph Curry, but everyone's level of play rises up. And when you rise the level of the tide of your team, of your group, of your core, your nucleus, all of a sudden you build championship teams. And so I think if we change the conversation by, instead of condemning people and say, oh, we live in a society where everything is about mediocrity, the question is how do we rise the tide to bring that average to a championship level? That's kind of what's been going on in my head as I've been kind of listening to this great interview. If you want to take a listen, it's a great interview. It's called Impact Theory, and type in James Lawrence Impact Theory, and you'll get some great insight. But I just wanted to share perhaps my take on his perspective. I don't necessarily agree with it to the same degree, and I think it would serve our society more from the perspective if we raise the tide, as opposed to just thinking that, oh, here are the average people and here are the people that are successful because they're willing to do something else. And yes, the people that have reached higher levels of success are people that are doing something more than what the average is by the very nature. So slowly but surely rising the tide for your core group of people, your nucleus of people, and you're going to start seeing your lives transform and the people all around your life transform as well. So this has been me, Armando. I'll catch you later. I hope you enjoyed today's lessons on the run, and stick with me for the next lessons on the run. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Click the subscribe button, and I look forward to serving you soon. Take care.